Hey everyone, welcome to Fulfillment Project. I've got a question for you. A bat and a ball cost $1.10 together. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much is the ball? Give it a second. Think about it. Most people say 10 cents. It's actually 5 cents. If you got it wrong, don't feel bad. I got it wrong. That puzzle is the doorway into the thing I want to talk about with you today. And it comes from an article a writer sent me back in May after she turned down an invitation to be on the show. Quick setup if you haven't read the piece yet. Her name is Ruth Gaskovski. She and her husband Peco run a Substack called School of the Unconformed. I asked her to come on because their Substack is amazing and they talk about really incredible things. The articles they post are truly unique. I've never read anything quite like it where they consistently put out really good content. I asked her to come on the show and she said no. Kindly and with real reasons. She had 2 books in process. There was a big press launch. She was traveling. She was doing a conference. There was a lot going on in her life. So it was legit. This is a lot more than I get from most people. Usually I drop someone a DM, a LinkedIn, an email, and it's crickets. I just don't get a response. But she did something I wasn't expecting. She gave me a comp subscription to her paid work. She offered to lift the paywall on anything I wanted to share with you, and we're doing that today. And she sent me 3 of her articles picked for the questions she knew I wanted to ask her about. I read all 3. One of them really hit me, and it's the one I want to talk about specifically today. It's called Learning Fast and Slow, Why AI Will Not Revolutionize Education. The argument is simple. We have 2 systems of thought, a fast one, instinctive and automatic and easy, and a slow one, deliberate and effortful and exhausting. That's Daniel Kahneman's work. He wrote a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. I read it a couple years ago. It's a fatty book. And Ruth and Peco's article distills it down very nicely with really good imagery that makes it very accessible. The image Ruth and Peco share is this. There's your hare brain and your tortoise brain. The thing that grabbed me about this is what they said. You cannot become a hare without being a tortoise. You don't get to skip the slow part. The slow part is where the fast part comes from. Almost every promise being made about AI right now is a promise to spare us the slow part. Skip the friction, arrive at the destination anyway. Peco and Ruth lay out 100 years of promises getting made and broken and made again and broken again. Edison said movies would replace textbooks in 1922. He thought a book was 2% efficient and a movie was 100% efficient. By his math, Hollywood should have become Harvard. The radio was going to fix education in the 30s, television in the 50s, personal computers in the 80s, massive open online courses about 10 years ago. Now we have AI, the most powerful tool yet. Meanwhile, reading scores for 13-year-olds in this country peaked in 2012 and have fallen ever since. As of 2023, they're barely above where they were in 1971. 50 years of educational technology, and we're back where we started. Here's where the piece stopped being about just school for me and bled into every aspect of my life, and I think your life. Every conversation I've had on this podcast circles back to it. Laura LeBlue has spent the second half of her career undoing what the first half asked of her. Amelia Wilson built Happy on Purpose around the idea that you construct happiness deliberately over time in the same way the slow system builds the fast one. Dr. Vic Strecker, one of my favorite episodes, told me purpose has to be chosen again after every loss and every transition. Repeat effortful practice until mastery. That's how you learn a language. It's also how you stay married, how you raise kids who can think for themselves, how you do work that you can respect. AI is going to keep promising us a shortcut. And listen, I use it every day, 50 times a day. It's become ubiquitous in most of my workflows. I'm grateful for the help, but the promise that it can spare us the slow work of becoming someone is the same lie radio told, the same lie the online courses told, just dressed in better clothes. There is no shortcut to a self. There never has been, there never will be. Which brings me back to Ruth. After her response to my invite, I wrote a Substack note about it, trying to honor what she'd done. Turning a rejection into hospitality is a rare thing on any social media platform. Everyone's so busy, you got a million things going on. The fact that she took the time to treat me like an individual, a human being, was touching because it's so rare. Literally never happened to me in the 1 year of running this podcast. After I posted that note, it kind of went viral. Other writers started chiming in, a few publicly, more in my direct messages. They all said the same thing. Yeah, Ruth has done that for me too, quietly. She doesn't talk about it, but she responds one-on-one intentionally to each person that reaches out. That's a person showing up for one writer and then another, one relationship at a time, with nobody keeping score for her, which is the exact thing her article is about. You can't mechanize what Ruth does. You can't scale it. The moment it scales, it stops being what it is. You don't scale a plumber. You don't scale a personal trainer. You don't scale a Ruth. So I recommend you go read the piece slowly, because that's the only way it works. She's unlocked it for free for all my readers on Substack. And then sit with this one question. Where in your life have you been hoping for a tool that will save you from the work that only you can do? Sit with that one before you go on to the next thing. Thanks so much for being here. If something stirred you in this podcast, in this episode today, please share it with one person, a family member, a friend who needs to hear it. Like this episode, you got to subscribe if you haven't. And I can't wait to see you next time. Thanks so much.